Loose. This is all good. Okay, we are live. What's up? I'm hoping that you can see that thing above. We're trying the draw feature, but welcome. Craig Adams here. Craig with a K here is Wedding Film School, and we do have a creeper with us. I don't know if you can see his thumbnail below, but we have Mr. Matt Johnson. Are you in Texas? Say hi.
Hello, yes, in strangely cold Texas right now, but it's going to get warmer. I'm sure it will.
So I was recently in San Antonio, and Matt blessed me with assistance, and it was awesome. You came all the way down. You drove down, and you helped out with the wedding. So, what was that like?
I'll say my drive down from Dallas may have actually been longer than your flight down from New York. So that happened. But it was an awesome time. I feel like Craig didn't really understand like Texas portion sizes of food and or sweet tea, so I introduced him to all of that, and we had a good time.
We had to get some like breakfast, like authentic Tex-Mex breakfast, and you did grace me with a beautiful restaurant. I think we just happened upon it, but I feel like your beard knew where to get good breakfast food, so thank you for that.
It sensed it. It sensed it for sure.
Mm.
I would say the entire day was what are the kids saying? It was lit. The day was lit.
The day happened to be very lit. Yes. Hello.
It was a well lit day.
L-I-T, lit. So if you're coming in right now, welcome to Wedding Film School Wednesday Q&A. We have Mr. Matt Johnson with us in the building. The beard is here. I'm trying a new draw thing. So if you want to send me Snapchat videos to my handle there, Cadams, you can do so. We're going to check back in to see that. I'm going to totally bypass any text Snapchats. So send me videos or photos. I want the videos. We want to hear your beautiful voice on live Q&A here. So let me know. Oh, it says, please adjust levels. How's that? My gain was all the way up. Does that sound better? People checking in. Okay, dude. South Africa, Texas, Florida. Word. I'm digging it. We do have a lot to talk about today. We have the Edelkrone Wing, and we just posted a video about the new Tascam DR10L. Had you had any experience with either of those before the wedding, Matt? Or was this your first time as well as mine?
As far as the DR10L, no, but a friend of mine did go through the hoops of buying a DR10C, which was the predecessor, not sold in America though. You have to like go on eBay and go through all these like order from China and stuff to get them. But he said that they were a game changer, and when I used it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So they've been on my list for a while. I'm really glad that it's now in America and you can buy them using Craig's affiliate links. Dang it, get him some money.
Of course. And if you're lost on what we're talking about, the Tascam DR10L, I have to get used to saying that, is like the new replacer for this on-person audio with the Zoom H1. It's pretty much just a little recorder, pocket recorder, and then it comes with a mic. But I guess some people in the UK were complaining once I posted that video that the prices are different in the UK market. And you were saying that like it wasn't even available to the US until recently. You had to do some international hoops. So I guess it's more expensive and doesn't come with the microphone in the UK. What's the deal with that? I don't know. That's weird. I guess some people aren't going to buy it if they can't get it for that price. But we Americans, we only think about America. So, you know, that's what it is.
I'm pretty sure the pro of the DR10C model is that it has a pass-through, so you can actually like run audio into it just like you would the DR10L, but then you can also run it out to say a Zoom or something like that for an extra backup.
Yeah. Okay. I do remember seeing the two inputs or the one input and the output or whatever. And people are saying that it's like 300 USD, 220 in Europe with no microphone. Okay. Word. That sucks. I'm sorry. It's great here in the US for 200 bucks. You can get a nice little audio kit. Word. So check out that video if you haven't. But that we didn't get a chance to really use it on the day of the wedding, just because I had my Zoom H1s. Do you use the same stuff for audio for when you're doing weddings, or what's your audio situation?
I never got on the H1 train, believe it or not, even though people are always posting deals, and I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. But I went straight to the I think it's the Olympus DM620. It's amazing that I can remember all of these product names actually. And basically, it's a little mini voice recorder that records to wave files. It's a little thinner than the H1, which I like, but in terms of audio quality, it's pretty similar. So.
Word, word. If it does the same thing, what's it matter? You know, it's all good. Um, and then we also had the Edelkrone wing. So people are asking about that. I have some opinions. Already have some opinions. I did use it for the wedding. And yes, we didn't have the extra ball head for the top, so it wasn't like a full review test. But what were your thoughts? You were shooting BTS and like helping a lot towards the reception, the end of the day. But like, what did you think? What did you see from behind the BTS?
I'm gonna say that I think that probably half of this BTS is gonna be Craig attempting to unscrew and rescrew on the ball head for
No.
the Edelkrone wing, because that thing is a pain. Like once you get it set up, it's pretty cool, but I feel like sliders are already like a very simple thing. It's like this is a camera, goes back and forth, done. But whenever you start bringing in like this new foldy bendy thing, like there was points I know that on the during the day where we're like, I don't even know which direction this thing is going. Like, is this thing even lined up right? Okay, we're doing a push now. Okay, great. But it was weird. It was cool, but weird.
Yeah. And the real quick review right now, like I'd have to agree, it was a bit more difficult. I think I would recommend the Slider Plus to people. A bunch of people are asking on Twitter and whatnot, and it's a little. The Edelkrone wing is a little bit smaller. Yes, it is cool. It's a cool idea, but it just takes two hands to use. You cannot use it with one hand, and you know they say it's like 4 times the length of the slide or whatever. But like once you get to the ends, it gets buckled so weird. So you can only use probably 2/3 of the length, and then even then, you, like I said, you have to be pushing or pulling in one direction, but then going in a perpendicular way. It's like, it's way too confusing. And I think the Slider Plus is better. I don't know. Or
Unless
you
you're
could
in like
just not use sliders like Matt. Matt doesn't use sliders, does it? Do you?
I don't believe in those. No, I haven't used one in like months and months. It's I don't know. I mean, in general, like if you have a glide cam or in your case like a Xeon crane, you can get 90% of the movement that you can get with a slider with another tool that is far more versatile. And you don't have
Yeah.
to set up a tripod and a whole like mounting it and changing heads on it, for example.
Don't remind me. Yeah. So I'm a couple weddings behind, but you're gonna get to see the glorious BTS footage from Matt. So yeah, what was it like? You were pretty much just following me for the first half of the day. Um, how was that?
I will say that I had to repeatedly remind myself that I was filming you and not filming a wedding, because there was many points during the day where I was like, "Oh, this is a pretty shot of the couple," and then I'm like, "Wait, no, Craig's over there. What am I doing?" So I had to like pan over. So if there was like a BTS of the BTS, you'd be like, "This is weird." Actually, I think there was, because there was a point where Craig was filming the couple, and I was filming Craig, and then he's like, "We have a fan," and I tourist man. Like we've had some BTS inception going on here, but it
Oh
was it
wow.
was really weird. But
Damn.
overall, super fun day. I learned a lot. I had a good time hanging out, and yeah, I think it was a lot of fun.
Cool. I think it's gonna be one of the best BTS episodes we've ever had, and I can't wait to edit that. Yeah, like I said, we have a couple weddings to go, but more on that. You guys have been waiting patiently for the next BTS episode that's coming very soon. Um, so it's like it's winter, but Texas is a bit different. Have you shot all of your weddings? Are you done? Do you have a couple more to do? Or are you in like in the trench of editing backlog city? Are you doing
I'm
that?
in, as you can tell from the length of the beard, I'm in full on hibernation mode at this point. BTS for you is the last wedding of the year. I may get one booked for January. We're waiting to see, but otherwise, like, I don't have anything till spring, because Texas, it's either too hot in the summer so people don't want to get married, or it's too cold in the winter and people don't want to get married. So there's a couple, like there's some prime months, but then it kind of chills out.
Dude, makes sense. So what was you know, we did a little bit of an interview at the end of the night, but what advice would you give to anyone who wants to A, shoot with me, or B, shoot BTS?
Oh, that's good. That's good. I would say in general, if you are filming Craig, don't get up in his face because he doesn't like having the camera right in his face. I was yelled at multiple times that day, I'll say. No, for real though. Like, pay attention, be aware, and kind of try to predict where Craig is going to be and what's going on. Because there's times, like I know whenever we were filming like the bride dress or the bride getting ready, and there's points where you're jumping around, so I'm having to jump around and simultaneously try to avoid you and the photographer to get a wide angle to sort of get an idea. There was a point where I was standing like on the toilet in the bathroom to get this angle, but it worked out and it's going to look really cool. So I'm excited.
I saw you up on the bed. I saw you in the bathroom. Man, you were like right next to the piano player for the ceremony. There were some really high stress moments there. Yeah, really high stress BTS shooting. I think you did great though.
It's way harder than filming a wedding. I'll say that, like, because you know there's such judgment coming from Craig the entire time. You want to impress him, like you want to make him happy. So, and you know that if you screw up, like basically wedding film school is gonna go under. So it's like it's up to me to save the day.
Damn, man, we need to make like a fake movie trailer for BTS for wedding film school. It'd be like really dramatic and stuff, like Michael Bay, Chris Nolan. So what's up with you? You've been what was the last video you brought onto your channel, you uploaded? Because I know you did the clothing one, the highly risque, highly controversial clothing for weddings video. What was the last one you uploaded though?
I will say about the clothing video, it was like what to wear when filming a wedding, and I thought it was fun. But I talked about like underwear for all of a minute. That's it. People latched onto that, and all like, oh man, you're wearing bad underwear. No, don't wear that. I know the good underwear to wear. And I'm like, this is what people's opinions are. It's underwear. Who cares? But the latest video I did, because latest video I did, as of 2 weeks ago now, I am now FAA certified under Part 107 to fly drones commercially. So basically, I made a video talking about why you should do it, even if you are filming weddings and you're like, oh, I'm just shooting a little bit, it doesn't matter. But like, I talk about reasons why it is still a really good idea to get certified and to be doing things legally, not only because you don't want to get sued by the FAA, but because it will teach you a lot about safety and how to fly better. So I talked about things I studied, how I went about doing it, and my mentality for taking the test. And so I think it was a lot of fun. It was a high stress, like 2 months of study, but it's over now and I'm certified for at least 2 years. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. Okay. So now you are legit and I am very not legit. It's almost like I'm the rebellion and you're the empire.
Technically, yeah. Even though I will say that whenever we were filming the behind the scenes, because I was there supervising, you were flying legally. So
oh,
that
wow.
was pretty cool. Yeah. Everything's above board.
So they just call you like FAA, whatever, certified. They don't call you a pilot in any way, right? I cannot have you claiming that you're a pilot.
Okay. You would think that, but in like the documentation, they call you a remote pilot in command. So
what?
That's kind of cooler than even like a normal pilot. Like, ooh, a pilot in command. Oh, remote pilot. Oh,
damn.
That's good.
You should have like a pilot hat and like jacket that you wear when you fly. I think that's totally necessary.
Okay, I will say my dad is a pilot, so I do have access to like the little pilot wings that would go like on my shirt and little pauldron things. I could do it.
Oh my god.
It'd be awesome.
That should have been your opening for the video. You just have that, like, you're just wearing that and you're like, guess what? Certified.
I'm a pilot, guys. What? Hey.
Yeah. Word. Well, that was awesome. Matt or Craig, just pretend Matt did all the drone footage so you don't get in trouble. Dude, I get so many people commenting on YouTube on both channels. Every time I post drone footage, they're just like, "Bruh!" Which kind of makes sense, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I should get certified.
Everybody's a drone expert now. That's what I'll say. So everybody has an opinion, and they're all going to tell you their opinion. Congratulations.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your help in Texas. It was super fun. It would have been awesome to have your wife, your lovely wife, helping out. Hopefully in the future I'll get to meet her. I will be back in Texas, and I've never been to the Dallas area, so I think that's long overdue. But yeah, thanks a lot for that, and thank you for joining us online.
Yeah, dude, glad to be here. Good talking to you guys.
All right, peace out, Matt. So cool, that's awesome. And if you haven't, absolutely go check out his channel. I will place a link in the description below, but I think most of you already know it. But if not, you should subscribe and bell the hell out of him. Okay, bell, get those notifications. So now we're just gonna switch gears. So we're just gonna do a little bit of Q&A. Oh man, okay. What we got here? I'm gonna turn my volume up. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Timothy, but we just lost yours. All right, now you should be able to hear. Arden, your #1 fan is back. We've got, oh, you can't even see it. Damn. We've got the lizard. I don't know if it's an iguana, but I'm just gonna say lizard.
Yo, man.
Chris has got a camera.
You're sick. Videos are amazing.
My videos are amazing.
So here's my setup, the beast. My question is, I'm from the UK, but
the text said, why don't you use the battery grip? So a lot of you saw my Instagram photo that I posted a couple days ago from the San Antonio wedding, and you're like, oh, what's the battery grip on the camera? That was Matt's camera. So I brought him in to help with that wedding, and he actually brought 2 A7S Mark IIs with battery grips and his own settings and all of that. So that was his camera in that shot. I don't have a battery grip. I don't use battery grips because it just adds weight and size. And I can change batteries much easier than having to stress about that extra weight. I've tried the battery grip. I've had it for the Canon DSLRs, but I'm just not a fan. I just want quicker, lighter, faster. That's better to me than battery life, I guess. Yeah. And that's on the Sony A7S Mark II, totally. So Ryan is asking, do you keep in touch with couples after they receive their finished film? Yeah, so feedback is important. You definitely want to keep in touch in some way. A lot of people try to do like upsells, like more video work in the future. And I've actually gotten a lot of like non-wedding work from brides and grooms. There's been a lot of times when they'll either recommend me for a video shoot for a friend or a company that they work for. They'll be like, this guy shot our wedding. Here's the wedding film. You should hire him to do X and Y. Of course, you'll get more referrals if you stay friendly with these people. Nothing hurts. It doesn't hurt at all to do that. So I totally recommend that. What does that look like? I know some people do Christmas cards. I know Mackenzie Miller. I've seen her do Christmas cards before. A lot of people talk about that. Email lists are probably, a very easy way. So if you're collecting emails from these people, you can opt them into an email list and then just send out how many times you want, monthly, yearly. Here's what I've been up to. Here's our best film from the year, or here's some recent films that we shot. Here's some news about the company, whatever you want. And then of course, having them follow you on Instagram and Facebook is a great way to just keep up that connection, because they'll see films that you post, all the stuff that you do, photos that you take. And I think Instagram is a great way to keep up with people who are kind of colleagues and acquaintances. not necessarily friends, but I follow a ton of people that I don't see very often or at all, and I can totally have a chat with them in messages, and that's a good place to go. So I think you should. Nice. Word. How do you mic up brides? Yeah, so some people actually mic up brides. Sometimes that's a lot. So I will usually pull audio from the groom. The only times that I really want bride's audio is if she's doing vows, pretty much during the ceremony. I'd say more than 50% of the time there will be some kind of audio provided for the event. So if I record the receiver of that wireless that's supplied, I will get that audio. And if not, I always have the backup on the groom. So the groom's audio is usually good enough to get both his and her audio. So that's fine because they stand close to each other. Yeah. Nyla, #1 fan, of course. Any in the UK, yeah. All right. How many improvement rounds do you allow with your customers after sending their wedding video? Yeah, so I don't allow any. I get it right the first time. Of course, if there's a mistake, and what does a mistake look like? If there's a misspelling, if there's like something that's just like completely wrong, like including something that was like really, really unappealing, anything weird like that, I would fix it if I didn't cut it or catch it. But I've never had any wedding films that I've had to redo because I make it very clear that the creative aspect of it is, that I'm in charge of that. So when it comes to music, when it comes to picking what the edit looks like, that's all up to me, and there's no re-edits. Yeah. So I don't really do that. Currently debating between an A6500. Oh, another Justin. I can't tell you about these Justins. A6500 and a 6D for a beginner wedding film camera. Would you recommend one of these or another camera for under 1.5? Yes. So the two are very similar. Honestly, 6D. I know some people have had some recording issues with the 70D Mark II. That's so hard to say the Canon names. I don't know why they would ever do 7DD or 8DD. Sounds stupid. The 6D is great. You could get one used for a great price, and it is a good full frame camera, but it helps having autofocus. It helps having these newer cameras, and the flip screen is pretty cool. It's okay that it's a crop frame camera. That's totally fine. You're shooting 1080p, you can make it work. You just have to adjust your lens kit to make an APS-C crop camera work, like the 80D or the 70D. As far as the A6500, yeah, awesome. You got to go down the road of Sony, though. You got to get native Sony glass. You have to go one or the other. Some people do the adapters, but for beginners, I totally recommend getting that kit. I have, go to my gear page on the Wedding Film School website, and you'll see beginners kits, and I'll be updating those with these cameras. And I'm actually looking for people to suggest kits of their own. So if they shoot with a 6D and I don't have a 6D kit, I'd love for people to send me theirs so that I could promote and feature some of the best so that everyone can see a good representation of what camera they're using. Because as of right now, I'm just promoting the cameras that I use, A7S Mark II and whatnot. So hopefully that'll be coming soon. What would you say Stabilizer Lightsaber has replacing sliders for you too? Should I go for a slider to jump straight into, or jump straight into a gimbal? I'm on Canon DSLRs though. Yeah, so with the gimbal, the Zion crane that I'm using, you have to watch the weight. So you really have to do some tests with the DSLRs to make sure that they're not too heavy for you. But with the 16-35 Sony on my A7S Mark II on the crane, it's fine. And I can even throw a wireless on top of the camera for some extra weight. Can it replace a slider? It's tough, you know. You're gonna have to practice a bit to get anything close to that. I'm a fan of very precise slider motion. Yeah. I'm a fan of very short moves that are just very subtle and perfect, either going forward, backs, left, right, whatever. With the crane, it's going to be more sweeping, much longer movements, because it's actually, you know, you can just like plant your feet and then kind of just move your body forward to get that crane shot, that dolly. It's very difficult to do, and you will be putting some stabilizer in post, which is fine. You know, it's good. You should be doing that for any shaking shots. So for a beginner, I wouldn't recommend it. Any beginner shouldn't be using the crane or a slider. I think they should just be practicing on getting good audio, good static shots, learning how to light and compose a frame before they start adding in that motion. I would say get the crane before getting the slider. That's what I would say. Yeah. You're welcome for the tips, Made Media. Totally. I just bought the A7S Mark II, but now I want the Zion instead of my Ronin M. Dude, I should have a head-to-head. I guarantee I could get better shots with the Zion crane over a Ronin M. And the speed is not even comparable. You're going to be much faster, be able to get in different places. Everything is better with the Zion crane, in my opinion. It's only when you start having heavier camera gear rigs that you need that heavy duty gimbal. Yeah. Have you had any encounters with angry brides' families? And if so, how have you dealt with it? Angry brides and family? No, I've always had communication with people. You know, I've luckily haven't had that much. Yeah, everyone getting the Zion is loving it. That's great. Super happy. Christoph, why are you making wedding videos? Why not something else? Wedding films are not what I do, you know, entirely. I'm full-time with these two YouTube channels, and that's very different than just shooting wedding videos. I've said this before, but I'm only doing 3 this year, like 2017 next year. So way less wedding films. I'm going to be doing a lot of different stuff. So yeah. Noah. Just watching. Love it. Neil, $100 lighting kit for weddings. What do I get? $100 lighting kit for weddings. Yeah, it's going to be tough. So what I recommend people with lighting, there's different types. There's, I think what's most important, which is a strong flashlight, like very strong and very focused, high on the dance floor, so that you have a good single source for first dances, for toasts, parent dances, and also general fast dancing at the reception. A single source so that you can move off axis and then shoot some kind of shape and just kind of expose for that. So you put that high in the air and you put it bright in one direction, hitting on one side of the face, and you expose for how bright that is. That's going to be something like a Dito. You know, that's what I have for that. It's a plug-in light. You can't use a battery with it. Well, you can, but I don't. I plug it in. I've got a very tall Manfrotto stand. If I can get on a second floor, if it's a 2-story reception hall with a balcony or you know, overlook, you know, that's perfect. And you want to go high because you don't want that light to be in people's faces. You want it to just be hitting where your subject is dancing. So if you were low, it would go all the way past them and then hit whatever's behind, you know? And if there are people there, it's right in their eyes, and you don't want that. And also, if you were shooting from where the light was towards the subject, you would see all of the light in the background and on your subject. So what you want to do is separate the background from your subject. And you do that by giving that single source and then moving off the axis of where the light is compared to the subject, so that you expose for the light on the subject, the couple dancing in the middle of the dance floor, but then in the background, you don't see the light spill. You know, it's dark. That's why dark receptions are good, because if you expose for the couple, the entire background falls into darkness and is way less noticeable than that precise focus point right in the middle. And that'll help you. And then if there are lights, candles, any kind of Christmas lights or uplighting or anything in the background, that will come up as bokeh if you're wide open on your aperture. So if your focus is pinpoint on your subject, the light is on there and you're exposed, and and you have that dark background with just candle lights, that's beautiful. That gives great detail for your subject and separation from the subject in the background. And that's what you want with the lights. The Dito is like a $500, $600 kit. You know, it can be under $1,000 for that kit with everything you need. I know Talkie has the Comer lights. The Comer lights are pretty spotty, so they're Fresnel, I guess you would say, so that they are the same amount of light all the way in the circle, and they are spotty as far as like a flashlight. If you have something like just like the normal LED lights that I'm using here, just like these, you know, they're very soft. You're not going to be able to see the light from all the way across the dance floor. These are for like up close to your talent, for like exposing and giving soft light rather than high and far. So I like to pair the Ditos with something like this. These lights are like $20 to $30 with the battery under 50. You'd have to start with those if you're going to be doing under $100. It's going to be tough to do under $100 for lighting. So I've got a full new tutorial coming. There's a lot to talk about here. I'm excited about that. So yeah. Word. Crane batteries last a few. Okay. Yes. An RE M18 for my backlight. But dude, I've got to get a new tutorial up for lighting. There's so much to talk about. Yeah. Let's go back. Chris.
Battery grip. I don't use battery grip. Seems like everyone's got this set up. What do you use to edit with? Like to support 4K?
What do I use to edit with? I using Final Cut. Chris, you want to resend to that? I don't know. Arlo.
Okay to pull over to film this, but what's the best way to mic up a bride at a wedding?
Nice. Good question. I talked about that a bit, but I'll just go over real quick. Yeah, I already talked about that, so good question. I am Edward Scissorhands. It's pretty dope. Crazy. Chris, do you use the Zion case with the crane that it came with, or do you transport it in something else? So it comes with the Zion crane comes with a nice little plastic case, but it's just big, and you have to take the crane apart, I believe, to make it fit. I like to keep it together, and I just place it within my support case. Yeah, I just kind of let it flow. So I just keep it there. Wait, do you ever use that cheap, like on top of your camera in a Nightcrawler style? If it isn't too bright for a subject. Yeah, so I never put LEDs on top of my camera for weddings. It's always off the lens. So that's the other thing I was talking about. If you get one of these cheaper lights, you can use that to expose like close to a couple or toast or something. You know, that's what you can start out with. But for shooting details, you can totally, I use these lights all the time. I use one or two. So you can do that. Do you like shoulder rigs? I like shoulder rigs for non-wedding stuff. I just think they slow you down too much and they give you just one style of shooting. Weddings are all about being high, low, you know, being able to twist around easy, you know, on a monopod or handheld. So not a fan of shoulder rigs. Why do you change the camera, the start kits? Because the Sony is a lot sharper than the 80D. Different cameras for different situations. One camera is not the best for everything, so that basic kit changes a lot. And I think the A60 500 is the best right now. Braxton.
Hey Craig, how do you transition from saying yes to all the clients that come your way to, picking out specific clients that just fit your style?
Yeah, so that comes with, good question, Braxton. That comes with a couple years of experience. You can't start off commanding your price. You have to first have a portfolio so that people can trust you to hire you for your wedding at the price that you're asking. And then once you start getting a lot of those weddings, you feel comfortable, delivering on the promises of those, and people can trust and see that, they've been shooting for 3 years and they've been doing this amount of weddings. That makes sense. You just need to keep upping your price so that you do have some people saying no. It's not okay if everyone's saying yes 2 or 3 years into your second or third wedding season. You should be able to have like a 50% yes and no lead referral rate. Yeah, and it's risky. It's tough. I do want to talk about this more in full. Totally. Yeah. Thoughts on the Sony 24-70 2.8? Yeah, it's good. I've seen it. I've used it. I'm a fan of primes. But like the 50 is just stellar. I love the 50. And I love the 16-35. So with those two lenses, it makes the 24-70 obsolete. I definitely like the 1.8 aperture of the 50 millimeter range. So I would miss that if I had the 24-70. And I don't need 2.8 when I have f4 for my wide angle. So I'm happy with the lenses I have, but I've seen it. It's good. If you just want one, if you don't need to go to 16, which I think is possible, the 24-70 2.8 Sony would be good for an A7S Mark II. How do you get DP work? Agencies sending tons of emails? Lol. Look at this puppy. Look at this puppy. I love the puppies. Yeah, DP work is pretty much all referral. So I'm constantly putting my name out there, my work out there, my social stuff out there, and hoping that if people think that I'm right for a project, they'll request. They have numerous ways to contact me, and they can do that. A lot of people like to work with people that they trust and that they're friends with. Personality is a big influence compared to skill. People underestimate how important it is that a client likes you when they hire you. So I shoot a lot for my friends and friends of friends because they recommend me. Yeah. DP work is fun for me. I'm not very serious about it. So I'm not in a union. I'm not doing like that kind of stuff. Just kind of letting it come to me and then doing what stuff is fun. It has to be fun for me to do that work. Yeah. So yes, we are still going. I've still got some of those. I want to answer some more questions here, but if you are still watching this right now, let's just smash that like button. Help me out here. Smash that like button. I'd love to see y'all do that. Awesome. You guys are awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Craig, have you seen a drop in views since the YouTube update? I haven't really seen a drop in views. I haven't really been that crazy affected by it. I've been seeing all the YouTube drama, but I think a lot of it is drama. A lot of people realize that they can get extra views when they stir up the pot of like making fun of YouTube and just doing all that stuff. So hasn't been really affecting me. I'm pretty chill about it. We have Larry Marshall slaying questions in the chat. Thank you so much. Love it. How many weddings did you do in a season when it was full-time for you? Did you do a lot of marketing, or was it more through referrals? How much of a part did social media play in you getting clients? So Ella C. Beefle. Sorry if I'm just destroying that name. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a good question. So I was shooting weddings, I would say part-time through college, because you have to spend a lot of time being a student. So when I was in Buffalo State, I was doing maybe 5 or 6 weddings a year. And that was still a lot, you know, to do the editing, to have a normal job on campus, and then also be a student. So I would say the moment I graduated and moved to New York City was when I went full time, because I didn't have a job out of college. You know, shooting weddings was my main income, that plus general filmmaking and DP work. So that's when I kind of went full time with it. I believe I got like 15 weddings that year. You know, every year I've shot probably 15 of my own weddings, but then I would also first, second, and third a ton for other people, 15 to 30 times. So that was a lot of other stuff. So I wanna go through. Okay, so was it marketing or referrals? How much did social media play? So social media is important for everything because it puts out a persona of you and your company. And my situation's a little different because I'm promoting Craig Adams as a brand rather than just the name of a wedding studio. So like I said, you always have a way for them to contact you. You make that as easy as possible, and you put out work, you put out the correct vibes that you want. I'm gonna call them vibes. Well, allow me to call them vibes. So I will post work that I want to do and not post work that I don't want to do. Sometimes the money would be good and I would do a project just because I was getting paid a lot, and I wouldn't put that on blast. I wouldn't put it on social media just because I wanted to cut that referral tree. But if there was a project that was really fun, a person that was awesome, or a wedding that I want to do more of, like, you put that on blast on social media. As far as marketing, you know, I didn't really do much marketing. You know, Facebook has changed a lot. You can do more marketing on Instagram and YouTube. So that's a bit different now. And I'm definitely I need to do a video on like Facebook marketing because it's definitely important at this point now for video. So yes. Good question though. Great. Do you think the Phantom 4 is worth picking up even with the improved Phantom 4 Pro coming out in January? Yeah, there's no correct drone for everyone. Like, you could totally rock a P3 Pro. Like, you don't have to get a Phantom 4. I've seen great work with all of them. And yeah. I like getting the newest things just because I like to be current and because I love to do reviews and share my opinions on new stuff. But you know, that's totally fine. Yeah, totally. If you want a drone, I'd say get a cheap one to practice if you're learning. And then once you like it, you find out that you like it and see how it could be used in your wedding films and other stuff, you know, then ball out, get the P4 Pro. Yes. So what do you think about the Edelkrone wing? It's not living up to the standards that I expected. You'll have a full review coming soon, but I would say hold off on it. Maybe get the Slider Plus. Yep. All right, let's just plow through some more of these Snapchats. Howard, on a low budget, would it be better to go with 2 cheaper camera bodies to work with one, or 1 solid camera body? Yeah, good question. Okay, so would you get 2 cheaper cameras? So like 2 A6300s or 1 A7S Mark II? It depends. If you're shooting with another shooter, like if you have a second shooter coming on your team and they have a camera, I would say go for the better camera. But if you're shooting just by yourself and you've got a bunch of those weddings, which I don't recommend, don't shoot by yourself. Get a friend. Book that into your packages eventually. It's good. You got to have 2 cameras. Personally, if you're starting out, just go with the cheaper camera. Totally. It's easy to upgrade. And think of it as investments. You know, if you buy an A7S Mark II and the A7S Mark III comes out, you can sell it and then get the new camera. If you're smart with eBay and whatnot, it's pretty easy to sell things for pretty close to retail. So it's not a huge loss if you get 1 camera and you have to upgrade in 6 months. Yeah. Andrew.
On the day of a wedding, do you ever turn your Rode mic off, or do you leave it on all day? Sometimes I forget to turn mine back on and I don't have any audio.
Oh, good question. I love that. Yes. So I used to turn it on and off, and I've been, you know, been fucked because you forget to turn it on. It's so easy to do. So just don't turn it off. Don't. I don't anymore. I use my Rode mic has 9 volts. I can't wait till they make a rechargeable one where you can just plug it in. But just turn it on and leave it, and just be okay with that. Always have a fresh battery before every shoot. Good question.
Now that you have changed your starter kit, how would you recommend people jump from your starter kit to your advanced kit? Would it be bit by bit, or just sell everything and start again?
Oh, yeah. You're constantly going to be selling and buying. That's just how it is, being a wedding filmmaker or photographer, creative these days. Like I said, it's much easier to sell things than people realize if you're pretty savvy on eBay and whatnot. But yeah, it's exciting. I've been wanting to make videos that kind of talk about the progression of learning past the basics, more advanced things, and then having your gear reflect that. I try to keep things minimal and simple and easy and quick by like keeping people away from lights when they're starting out, sliders and gimbals and drones and all of that stuff. But I think once you just start with a tripod, a monopod, and a camera, and you work through that, and you get the basics squared away, audio is the next place that you definitely want to perfect before you move on. Make sure that you're getting multiple sources. So you're always getting the audio that you want, if not always having a backup to make sure that you always never don't get the audio. There should never be a wedding. There never should be a wedding where you don't get audio for toasts or the ceremony. So once you get that squared away with like multiple audio kits for on person, and then also pulling, you know, board audio or receiver audio for the toasts, that's when you can start thinking about lighting. That's when you can start thinking about gimbals and sliders and all those things, and drones. So there is kind of like a finessing and a proper way to expand your kit once you start expanding, you know, how you're shooting. So I should do a video on that. That's a great question, Isla, though. Best second camera, which doesn't cost as much as the A7S Mark II, but will still use your lens setup. Good question. Some people buy the A7S used and whatnot. That can be a lot cheaper than the A7S Mark II. The lenses are a little bit different on the A6500, but yeah, I just got to perfect those kits. I get so many questions like this, and I wish I could just have every single kit all ready to go so that I can just give them one link to my kit profile so that people can check it out on their own. So thank you for getting me on that. I've got some work to do. Aiden, have you tried lens whacking? And he showed me an example of his kids. Cool. Lens whacking is when you take the lens out of the camera and then you hold it close to the connector, the mount, I guess, and then you kind of tilt it a little bit so that the light is bent on one side differently than the other side. So it can give you some cool different looks. It's kind of the similar idea as like holding a prism up to your lens, or even like holding a flame up to, you know, in front of the lens. You don't want to light your lens on fire. You don't want to do that. But just giving some different modulations, I guess you could call, to your lens. I've done it before. It's fun. You know, if you get bored, do it. Totally. I'm such a fan of like getting weird shots. Always try to push the envelope as far as keeping it fun and being creative, not doing the same thing over and over again. So yeah, do it. Why not? Totally. Neil, how did you find your first couple to shoot your wedding, and how old were you? So it just kind of fell upon me. I've got a whole story. I think I have a video about my first wedding. An art teacher knew that I did video, so he just or she just was getting married, and she gave me $200 to shoot her wedding. And she told me, "You can shoot whatever. I'll be happy with whatever you give me. Just show up and shoot it." And I did, and it was fun. I put that on Facebook, and more people wanted that for their weddings. So totally fell upon me. That was when I was a senior in high school. So I would say 17 or 18. I think 18. Yeah, so that was interesting. Neil, how much did you charge for your first wedding film? Yes, I got $200. A7S3 wish list. Good question. Scott Sullivan. So I think it's pretty, I haven't seen much news, but it's pretty apparent that the A7S Mark III is something that people are really looking forward to. What I would like better in that camera. Honestly, feature-wise, it's pretty much there. They can't really change the batteries. The battery life is something that I would talk about. But I think a lot of it has to do with the files and the internals. So one, I don't want it to overheat at any point doing anything that it can. So I want to be able to shoot 4K for as long as I can with no overheating issues. Two, I would like the battery life to be a little better. We can't change the battery, but we can change how the camera uses power. And that comes down to firmware. So I think they can do some stuff to try to help that, because when you're shooting 4K versus 1080p, there's a huge difference. It's almost impossible to shoot a wedding with like 6 batteries if you're shooting 4K all day. So that's tough. And then also more files, firmware, and internal stuff. I would just like more data. So give me 120 frames at 4K. Give me better bit depth. Give me all that stuff. That would be nice. I think they could do some work with their color science. I think that would be great. Yeah, just kind of internal stuff. I think they've got the button layout. I think they've got all of that pretty great. We already have the internal stabilization. So I think the next camera, the A7S Mark III, is going to be a big internal guts improvement. What do you think? What do you think? I would like to shoot 4K for more than 30 minutes. UK law sucks. Yeah, it's laws that are stopping us. So it's the difference between taxing it as a camcorder versus a non-camcorder or something. So I'm not sure those are going to change. Should Sony enable codec H.265 for smaller files? Yes. So that's probably where, we'll probably see the biggest jump in codec, because most of our cameras are using H.264 compression. So they're getting information, and then they're wrapping it into they're organizing the files and the data with H.264 codec, and it's putting a lot of data into a small package. So think of getting the same amount of data, but in half the size of the package. So in the other way, you could get twice the amount of data. So twice the amount of data from your video image in the same file size that H.264 has. So an improvement in codec would help everything. What I would love is that, so that we can have better compression on YouTube and Vimeo. What people see compressed online is atrocious compared to what the actual video footage looks like on our computers. And people forget that. People complain and chat and discuss 1080p and 4K and 422-bit depth and blah, 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 and color science and all that stuff. But if you really knew, what the average monitor, what the average color science, and what the average resolution and compression of what people are watching online, like what you're watching right now is like probably dog shit compared to what it could be. So compression is the bottleneck. There's so many different bottlenecks that could happen, and compression is probably the one that's cutting off most of the data for us. So I can't wait till H.265. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to that compression stuff. Yes. Oh, 2 SD cards. Yep. D-Art wedding stories. Totally. Two SD cards would be dope. Yes. Awesome. Compression, Silicon Valley. Yep. If you watch Silicon Valley, we all know about that. What do you think about the Edelkrone wing? I talked about that. There will be a review. If this, wait, what's the biggest difference between the A7S and the Mark II? I don't know. You got to look at specifications. I haven't used an A7S in a while. It's kind of like outside of my thought range. I don't even think about it. Yeah, I'm probably not going to do a review because it's such an old camera now at this point. So if you missed any part where we talked about the Edelkrone, this video will be on YouTube later. So if you're shooting a wedding on your own, do you hire a second A7S Mark II? So it depends on my second and third shooter. I will hire people that have cars. I'll hire people if they have dogs that I can pet while I'm visiting the city. And I will hire people if they have the same gear that I have. I give priority to A7S Mark IIs, but I'll hire people who have Sony gear over Canon. And yes, I'll hire people if I can save on a rental. But if I can't get a person who has 2 or 3 or, whatever camera buddies, I'll rent one. It's pretty easy here in the city, lots of places here, but then there's always Lens Pro to go. You can ship it anywhere. Jenny.
Craig with the K. What do you do with all of your previous footage from like weddings? Do you keep it? What do you do with it?
Yeah, good question. So backing up footage, what do I do with wedding projects when I'm done? So I keep the raw files, this audio, video, in a folder that I upload to the cloud. So a single 2-person wedding would probably be like 150 to, let's say 200 gigabytes total. I'll take that, upload it to the cloud so that's safe in Amazon's S3 land. And then I'll have it on my portable editing drive. So my 1 terabyte Transcend. That's where I edit off of. I bring that with me if I'm editing on the go. But then I also take the third copy, which is on my Drobo. So that's like my large capacity. I've got like 40 terabytes of capacity there. So that's when I'm just shot the wedding, I'm editing. Once I'm done editing, I will take that new on the Transcend because it'll change. There'll be new render files, there'll be new graphics, audio, music files. It'll be a larger. So it might be like 250 gigabytes now that I'm done editing. I save the videos that I edit. So the archive, the highlight, upload that to YouTube, but then I keep those MOVs just in my files that I always keep. And then I take that 250 gigabyte project folder and I put that to replace the one on my Drobo. And then I replace the one in the cloud. So now I have 2, one in the cloud and one here locally. And that's it. I save everything. Yeah, just because I have large capacity and then the cloud is infinite, so I can upload as many files as I want. I've got terabytes on there. I'm constantly uploading. And I use Amazon Drive. Yeah, Amazon Drive, if you're a Prime member, is pretty cheap and it's infinite. You can put up as much as you want. If you've got fast internet, you can upload 100 gigabytes a night, Just put that on before you sleep and do it. Yes, good question though. These are all, see, this is great because it gives me ideas of what you guys want and the videos that I need to make. Cool. So I'm losing my voice. You guys have some awesome questions. I always love this. Before we leave, smash that like button, do it. I'm glad you guys sent me some Snapchat videos. I see some more that I did not get to. So I'm going to reply to all you guys when I have my voice back. Drink some coffee and whatnot, watch some Parks and Rec. Hells yeah, because that's what I'm into right now. And Perkins, season 3. Yeah, Amazon Drive. Yes, I need to put that in my Wedding Film School resources website page so that people know that they can do that. Yeah. Yes. Very good. Great. You guys are awesome. Once again, smash that like button if you're still here watching. I appreciate you guys so much. What I would love, so yes. All right. Thank you, Larry, for slaying questions. Thank you, Matt Johnson, for jumping on in the beginning here. And I'm just like testing this draw thing. So it's funny that I could put that there. And I can also like draw things on the screen, I guess. Can you see that? So there's like little things. I guess I can play videos as well. So, you know, these Q&As every Wednesday are going to get a bit more interactive. I'd love to do like, you know, we should talk and show a video, review people's websites. I can share my screen, so I can do that. Dude, smashed it. Thank you. Smash that like button. Dude, just straight smash that like button. Short live show. Dude, I've been on for an hour. My eyes are red. I'm losing my voice. My fucking Snapchat is dead. I'm so tired. Smash that like button. Thank you. Cool. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below after this posts as a video. Thank you guys so much. Peace out.